Jan Ochoa.
Matthew Rorie.
Rory, how raspy do I really sound?
We can get real raspy.
Oh, I can get so raspy with these kids today on their skateboards. They're ruining my tulip bushes.
Not the tulips. They just came in bloom.
Yeah, so I went to a baseball game last night, and I have proof of it here. I got a rally towel.
Ooh.
Let's go Oakland A's. I'm glad to say Oakland and not the A's because they're probably going to move in a couple of years. Nobody knows, but I screamed a lot. We won. We had a good time. I'm mildly hungover, but I had some toast and some water, and I sound great. And I look great.
You sound great. You look great. You always look great, Rory. That's the thing.
That's fantastic. My dirty ass bedroom here in the background. I got a little Bella down here. Hi, Belly.
Hi, Bella.
You doing okay, Belly? Belly? Ooh, looking at me. Okay.
Oh.
She's following along. She likes WoW. Jan, we're here to talk about some Warcraft.
We are. I know
it is
next to nothing about Warcraft.
Good. We are going to be talking about the new expansion pack that's coming out probably later this year. And I really now I'm hearing myself talking. It sounds very bizarre, so I apologize. But they're coming off a couple tough expansions. Battle for Azeroth was bad. I think Shadowlands was really bad. I really haven't played much in the last year or so. I've been following up the storyline. It's ridiculous. And they have a lot of fixing to do to get people back on board. I know all the hoopla around Shadowlands is that it sold a huge amount of copies when it came out, but they don't really release the player numbers anymore, so nobody really knows how many people have defected to World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14, but it sure does feel like a lot more people are talking about it.
How long has it been since they stopped putting out the player numbers?
It's been a few expansions. They'll announce how many people buy the boxes or the digital versions at the beginning of the expansions, but they have hidden the WoW subscription numbers under the total active player count for Blizzard Activision. So it's kind of nobody really knows.
Oh,
it's been it's been a long time, better part of a decade, people are saying. But yeah, I haven't played in a long time. It's a light week for gaming content on the internet and new game releases, but so I figured we'd take a look at this and talk about it. Give you a little recap of Shadowlands. We took a diversion into the version of basically World of Warcraft's kind of vision of heaven or hell. You went to the afterlife kind of part of the world where all of your souls are getting judged, except a bad guy took over the whole thing and was using all those souls to make magic energy, trying to take over the entire world.
What a jerk.
They retconned a huge amount of WoW history by making the jailer kind of the architect of everything important that's ever happened in Azeroth and the universe and everything else. It made no sense. It was incredibly disappointing to a lot of people. Sylvanas is hopefully gone. At the end, these are going to be big spoilers for a game probably nobody here is playing super heavily, but
I've always been WoW curious, Rory, but not anymore. I know everything that's going on.
So Sylvanas was the big main evil villain for the last few expansions, and she was eventually turned out to be in service of this old dude named the Jailer, and then eventually when the Jailer was defeated, the good guys put Sylvanas in charge of kind of fixing the mistakes of what she had done. So hopefully she's not in this new expansion. What I didn't like about Sylvanas, what I didn't like about Shadowlands was a lot of things. Like the story was kind of nonsense. It was kind of cool to see all the old characters because it wasn't heaven. So you'd go back and see like Uther and a lot of other people. But a lot of the kind of day-to-day quotidian stuff about it was annoying to me. There was a lot of travel time between the zones because they're really spread far apart. What was that?
A really good word. Sorry to interrupt you.
Quotidian, yeah. It means like of the day. So there's a lot of travel time between the zones. You're always flying around for very long periods of time, which is not that big of a deal in WoW because you can go pee or whatever. But you couldn't mount up in one of the zones called the Maw. I was really annoyed by that because I was a paladin. I don't have any like really good travel skills. And there was a thing called Torghast where you had to get legendary dust to make your legendary stuff, and you're just repeating that over and over endlessly if you wanted to do that, and it was not super rewarding. I just thought it was kind of bad in general, and I think that was the consensus. I'm not going to speak for every WoW fan, but I think
I need you to be the definitive voice here.
Yeah, the overall response to Shadowlands was pretty negative. So Yeah, we have got about a minute here, but it's been an interesting time because WoW is one of the touchstone games of my life. I've been playing it since beta and friends and family beta. I started playing WoW when the level cap was 30.
Oh boy!
And I played a paladin in that beta, and the paladin didn't get any skills or talents until the very end, so it was incredibly boring. It was just kind of like running up and hitting somebody with an auto attack the entire time. But I think we all recognize the at GameSpot where I was. Everybody recognized how good that game was going to be, and it turned out to be quite amazing. So it's been really disappointing to see the last few expansions kind of flail around a little bit. Chris Metzen left Blizzard I want to say a couple years ago. He was the big story architect of WoW in general, and he losing his oversight probably hasn't helped too much. So,
ooh.
Pardon my bourbon. This is, if you're watching this on Twitch or anywhere else, we are going to talk over this thing. We'll be listening to some parts of it, but I'll have my expert opinions here and probably be very wrong about the WoW storyline. I've never been too huge of a storyline person, but Sylvanas has really kind of soured me in the whole thing. Anyways, here we go. Let's see.
I'll say WoW about a couple things as well.
See if we got CGI cutscene here.
Oops, there we go.
Remember the good times?
Yeah. Oh man, this is bringing me back.
For the Alliance!
Whoa.
That's a real person.
That was a child.
That's a Mergle.
More cosplay.
CGI in these games are very good. They spend some time on this.
For Azeroth!
Did you ever watch the movie, Rory?
Yeah, I did not particularly care for it too much.
Oh.
It's a shame. Duncan Jones was super talented at source code.
Hi everyone, I'm John Haidt, General Manager for Warcraft, and with me today are my friends Ian Hazacostas, who is the Game Director for World of Warcraft, and Holly Longdale, who leads up the production team for WoW Classic. I really appreciate you tuning in. I know we're really excited to be able to give you updates on what's happening in World of Warcraft. But first, I want to thank our community for all the feedback you've given us this year, and especially our community council. You've helped shape and influence the updates that we've done recently and what you're going to see in the upcoming year.
I mean, really, for Shadowlands in particular, the story of the last 9 months or so of this expansion is all about the community, and it's shaped by what we've been hearing from them, and us realizing as a team that we just collectively needed to do a better job of making sure the community felt heard.
Rory, are you a member of this community council?
I am not, unfortunately.
Really re-examining some of the assumptions and foundations of World of Warcraft about things like character investment, and mains versus alts, or how catch-up should work, or the appropriate role of friction in our systems.
Live, let me know if you need more.
915 represented a step in the direction of letting players have more freedom to play World of Warcraft the way they want to play it. And we really built our Eternity's End content update from the ground up around those principles.
What are some of the things that the community said that influenced your decisions for Eternity's End?
Things like the method and pacing of acquisition of the Covenant Legendary item, tons of tuning, and I think every step of the way, we were listening to make sure that we were carrying forward.
Why does this sound like an apology, Rory?
In the course of 915,
it does sound kind of odd in that sense. Like they've definitely heard the feedback about Shadowlands. Also, Shadowlands only had 2 big patches instead of 3.
And support us as
COVID, I'm sure, affected that a lot.
But has always been about the world and the players.
But yes, it sounds very conciliatory.
And we are in a lot of ways curators and caretakers of that journey and of that experience. And so once this classic community formed and grew, we had to listen to them.
It's this tide of listening to the community and paying attention to what is a good experience for our players now. And where we really saw a sea change in this idea is with our Season of Mastery round, which is a Season of Fresh Start Classic. And initially we were talking about it like it was going to be like a fresh start. Let's
I tried a little bit, but I just
in a season,
the pace of that game is so compared to
and
WoW
then when
now
the
that
community
it's tough
found
to go
out
back
about
to.
it, we started seeing this upswell.
Yeah, the team just took that idea and ran with it
Yes.
and turned, what started out as
This
a
is an
small
interesting way to
community
begin
project
this.
into
Yeah, it is.
this
It's,
Soul of Iron system that became a centerpiece of Season of Mastery.
You can only
a
say,
whole
"We
new
hear you" so many
opt-in
times before it
hardcore
gets a
mode
little,
that we've seen communities built
show me the
around.
money.
Yeah.
Lots of, thrilling victory and painful defeat.
5 hours. I made it 5 hours.
Exactly. We're all
Yeah.
laughing here.
And it continues. Like Burning Crusade Classic, we wanted to balance the Paladin steals between Horde and Alliance, so we made an addition there. We wouldn't have gotten
This is
there
getting
without
very
the
specific for,
community's input.
So
To start off with all this classic
influence
stuff.
the community,
Yeah.
you've got another update and pretty significant controversial change for this.
Yeah, cross-faction play coming in
God.
925. Which
Well,
is
Yeah,
what
they
press
have been
call
talking
now
about this a little bit.
as a big
Ian,
centerpiece.
cross-faction. You're breaking with a 17-year tradition.
Yeah, it's
So
not-
yeah,
it was
so
not
now the
an
Horde
easy
can play with the
decision by any
Alliance
means,
in
and I think
Dungeons
it's
and
another one of
Raids.
those areas
If you
where
team up with your
really
friends and stuff like that,
we
it's
try to take to heart
I think
community feedback and requests.
a
and
reaction
ask
to
ourselves as a
probably
team whether there's
lower
a
server
way
population
to
and some
accommodate such
faction
an
imbalance kind of
earnestly
stuff.
held desire and still feel like we're being true
Well, that
to
sounds
the
insane.
roots of the game.
It's
The
really
players'
big. It's
desire
a
to
pretty
play
huge
with their
change for.
friends who might prefer a different faction, or to play with the faction that they more closely identify with, even though their raid group is elsewhere.
It's really important for me. I play a lot of alts, and I love absorbing the story for each race and having that ability to play with all of my
Please
friends.
do
across
use the
factions
Ask a
is
Question
fantastic.
button at the
end
top
of
of the
day,
chat screen and
the battle cry
giantbomb.com/chat,
is
and I
for
will
the
try my
Horde.
best
It's
to
not
answer anything that you
against
have.
the
but
Alliance. It's not death to the
Yeah, I'll
Alliance.
try and relay some
It's
stuff to you, Rory.
about pride in one's faction, and I think there's a way to preserve that and even strengthen that.
See what goes on
while
here.
giving players the ability to make the same choice we've seen the greatest heroes make time and time again.
I can't wait to do this. I'm seeing a lot of my friends that I never knew
I
had
can't
a
wait,
next level
buddy.
character
Wow.
in the other faction suddenly come out of the woodwork.
Jesus.
And then, with these cross-faction groups, many of them are going to be diving into something new that we're doing to kind of cap off Shadowlands.
Do you think this,
a season
besides
4,
addressing
kind of a
low
remix of
player
all the-
numbers,
the
Rory, do you
greatest
think this
hits,
is something that could
revisiting all of our raid
actually
zones
get
across the
people back
expansion,
in?
bringing in
I
some
don't
familiar
think it
older
is something
favorites
that
into
will.
the Mythic Plus
I
rotation.
personally, I don't.
And we recognize this is
I've
kind of a
been in
closing
guilds
chapter.
before
We're
and
gonna
everything like
send
that, but I
off
don't really
to
particularly
Shadowlands.
know many
As
people on
everyone
the
gets
Horde
ready
side
for what
because I've only played
happens
Alliance
next,
my
what
entire.
will
I've
come
had a
next.
couple
I
ults
want
over there,
to
but
give, a fun new challenge
I think
for
it'll be
everyone
more
to take.
impactful for like
Really
really
cool
high-end
stuff
raiding guilds,
for
which if you can
Modern WoW
start
players.
comparing
Super
people
excited
across,
about the gear upgrades that you're gonna give me and a
factions, some of
chance
those
to
high-end raiding
play
guilds are
some
probably
of
gonna have
those
a weirder
awesome
time
raids.
There's a
making their
lot to
25 people.
explore. Very
I see.
exciting.
For our next adventure in World of Warcraft, we're going to go back to Azeroth. We're going to a space with high fantasy.
Space?
Our fans have asked for this for a long time. This has been kind of the foundation of much of the lore of WoW. So without further ado, let's watch the cinematic.
Excellent. Finally, space. The final Star Trek.
The final Star Trek.
The
Whoa,
final
that's a long
Star
time
Trek.
ago.
10,000. Oh, no time travel, hopefully.
Everyone loves multiverses now, Rory.
The world has been sundered. It cries out in pain.
It's not that Naga
We
lady, is
must
it?
go to its aid.
No, dragons, yeah.
We entrust
Everybody kind
our
of thought this was going to be a
ancestral
Dragonflight
home
expansion
to you, the
based on some
Watchers.
leaks.
Whoa, that statue's just moves.
Let the land slumber, hidden even from our own eyes. You will feel our return in the waking of the land. Then
I'm so
you must
tired.
light the beacon of
I'm gonna ask,
cheer,
do you think they get tired?
lest the path home be lost to us
Sleepy.
forever.
I guess the dragons gave up and ran away.
Whoa. the
I'm
statue's
not
old.
up on a lot of my WoW lore, unfortunately.
It's a well-made statue that lasts 10,000 years. Dang.
They do cinematics really well over there at Blizz. Oh, dude, half your face fell off. Oh, shit. Sucks for you. It's gonna be Deathwing. if I recognize that herb.
Does this guy look familiar?
No. I mean, it does a very close resemblance to the dwarf kind of progenitor. I forget. Constructs, Titans, but I don't recognize him in particular. I'm sure some WoW nerd is screaming. Not WoW nerd. We're all WoW nerds. Just never been quite as into the lore of this whole series that some people have.
Oh no, Dad. Papa.
I just look so worried and so sad. So sad.
I don't know why though.
Oh no.
Oh, he's gonna fall and then just crumble into 1,000 pieces.
Oh, he's got to jumpstart it.
Oh, he's gonna hug it.
He's gonna do the Thor.
Oh, there we go.
I did good.
Papa.
It's not Ysera, is it? I forget the Dragonflight leaders. I think Ysera's dead now. I think she died in Legion. Dathomir, I believe, is dead too. The Dragonflights are, different colored dragons, and they each one has a pretty powerful leader NPC in the game usually. They kind of. That's good.
But her fate is yet uncertain.
Oh man, they're really going for Avatar.
Yeah, the whole thing about
money.
The whole thing about the jailer was that he died at the end of Shadowlands and said he was trying to protect everybody from something even bigger threat. That guy's pumped now. Yeah, feel the blood pumping. Dragonflight. Yeah. So this was the leaked name of this expansion that was came out a few weeks ago with all the trademark stuff. There was a lot of dragons. I mean, the last big dragon heavy. Dragons!
Yeah! No one saw it coming. Carefully kept secret. But seriously, I mean, what did we just see there?
The awakening of the Dragon Isles, the return of dragons, the dawn of a new age. Right, we've seen Rathian searching for his father's legacy, searching for the Dragon Isles. There's a reason why he hasn't been able to find them until now.
The beacon going off, is that summoning the dragons?
It is removing the concealment that had hidden the Dragon Isles from the world, but also beckoning the dragons back urgently in a time of need.
I assume pretty good variety
Mist
of
of Pandaria,
locales within
Part 2.
the Dragon Isles.
Yes, the Dragon Isles, as kind of standard for WoW expansion, consist
You're
of
gonna see all kinds
5
of
zones,
forests and
4
caves
standard
and
leveling zones,
outside
and a new
places.
starter zone that we'll get to in a second.
Can you talk
Four-
a little bit about how
four
the team
level
found
ones.
ways to thread the dragon aspects throughout the environment?
That seems low.
The Dragon Isles are a place
4.
that is lush and
Yeah.
primal, bursting with elemental energy. As Azeroth herself reawakens, those primal forces are expressed throughout the environment, whether it's magma activity, volcanic activity, whether it's the icy wastes of the Azure Span, and each one of those has a connection to a dragon.
Just saying this like a few different biomes isn't the bare minimum thing to expect in a WoW expansion.
Yes, okay, so
Can I be a dragon?
let's start getting into some features here and what Dragonflight means for you as well as just a place.
Yes, let's please do.
So first off, yes, we have an all-new playable race, the Drakthir race.
Yeah.
This is a
Oh.
dragon
Drakthir,
draconic
oh
race,
boy.
but dragons in Warcraft have the ability to take on. a
That's
human
not flying.
form.
That is floating.
What classes can they be?
They have unique abilities as literally a dragon that doesn't quite fit.
If there's a new
any of our
class, I'll
existing
be very
classes.
interested.
And so what we're doing is this is not just a new race, but it's also a new class. You know, adding a new race to World of Warcraft
New
and
race
an
and
allied
class.
race is something that we don't do lightly. But telling this expansion, this story, so focused around dragons, felt like the perfect time for it. So if you were a Drakthir, you will be the Evoker class. Drakthir can only be Evokers, Evokers can only be Drakthir. And the reason why only a Drakthir could be an Evoker is that an Evoker is really combining the ability to call upon the magic of the different aspects with the unique physical gifts that a Drakthir has, the ability to actually take flight and do an Onyxia-style strafing deep breath over the battlefield, land on the other side, knock everyone back with a wing buffet, and then unleash your magical abilities.
It's been a while since I had a new class.
The
Demon
Evoker
Hunter, I
has
think,
two
was the last one. That was in like
specializations. They're
a
hybrid
Legion, I want to
of
say.
either ranged
It's been a
DPS
while.
or healer. And they wear
been a
mail
while.
armor. We figured, you know, with the new hero classes we've added over the years, we have enough melee, we don't need more of those. And also probably don't need any more leather wearers.
The raid leaders are going to love you for that.
Exactly. This is definitely a hero class. And so that means that, you know, like the Death Knights before them or Demon Hunters, they will be starting level 58. And then they're going to have a new starter zone. So they're going to have a slightly different journey into the Dragon Isles as opposed to the rest of us that are sailing there from other parts of Azeroth.
Can you talk a little bit about the customizations? Like
leveling
what
zones.
is
Seems
going to be able to identify my Drakthir character?
kind of low.
Basically anything and everything. You know, skin color, hair color, jewelry.
I guess we're 4 leveling
tattoos,
zones
other
in
adornments.
Shadowlands,
You can make
so
this character
not
the
too
expression
bad, but
of your identity in Azeroth.
New zone, new class,
Yep.
new race. Well, tell us about some of the system updates.
Yeah,
You seem so
of
proud.
course, a new expansion brings with it.
feel bad that
new
They have to
systems,
be
new
upbeat.
features.
Yeah, I'm not trying
I
to.
think
I'm not
in
trying to shit on it
recent
too much.
expansions,
They
one of
just
the
have a lot of
things
work
we've
to do to
tended
make me
do
care about this game
is
again.
really
I'll
have
play
these
it when it
deep
comes out, but
features that
I
were
was
closely
so
tied to a
done
specific
with
expansion that would
Shadowlands
then
by
get
like
left
halfway
behind
through that
as we moved
expansion
on.
that
And
it's
we
really going to
heard
take a lot to me
loud
to
and clear
get
from
like.
players that, you know, it's kind of a bummer to start off every new expansion by leaving a large part of your character behind, by leaving a large part of your progression behind. So this time around, what we're doing is really pouring all of our energy into permanent revamps, overhauls, and improvements to World of Warcraft's core systems. Things like
love Office
our
B-roll.
progression systems, in this case, our talent system is something that we want to completely revamp. We want to take a look at our UI. We want to take a look at professions.
Yeah.
the
Oh, they're going to
talent
take that
revamp and the arrival
FF14
of
UI
Classic,
editor.
did
That's
you learn
great. That
anything
this game
about how our
has needed that
talents
for
work?
I think
ages.
seeing a new generation of players play with those talents and
You
work
can do a
through
lot of
those
UI
talent
editing
trees
with mods,
really
obviously, but
underscores some of
the
the
way
things
that
frankly,
FF14
we
just has it
lost
built in
when
and
we
you can do anything you want to
shifted
do
the
UI
Mystic
over there
and
is really
style
powerful.
talents and beyond.
Just steal
A
that.
piece
Yeah.
of that was just the granularity, the feeling of getting a level and spending a point to customize your character to make yourself a bit better in some specific way. But also, you know, that sense of hybridity that you could have. That's something that we've largely lost. And so the new talent system avoids directly pitting player power throughput choices directly against those sort of utility hybrid choices because we know that there's always a right outcome there. And we also understand.
So Druid
that,
points
there's
looks
lot
like
of
it's going to be a
strength in the
general skill
flexibility
tree,
of the
but I don't
modern
know.
talent system
Only
to let
2
players
talent trees. That
customize
might
their
be
talents for a particular
that's a big change.
encounter or for dungeons versus PvP, and we don't want to lose any of that.
So John, UI?
Oh my God.
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, everybody loves it.
monitor, trying to keep track of where I am on the map, all my buffs, and over here, what's going on in chat. It has literally made my eyes go like this. So
You're not alone in that. We've made a lot of incremental
big
changes
monitor.
and additions over the years, but really this is a revamp. This is an overhaul.
my monitor is
And
35
we're
inches, by the way.
excited to really
I don't know if you've ever heard
modernize
that
the
before.
look and feel while staying true to the origins of World of Warcraft. You know, at the same time, we're not looking to take away the sort of power user customization there. Add-ons are still there if you want them, but we want a much better default out-of-the-box experience for all players, new and old alike.
Out of the
reduce
box, WoW
elements
is
from new
very
elements,
difficult
if I wanna explore the
to
world
do anything,
and
especially in
see the
dungeons and
beauty of
raids. It's
Azeroth.
very
When it
tough to
comes
see
specific
aggro and
elements,
things
as
like
much as
that.
possible,
So
we want to let players choose what to show and what to hide so that they can control it themselves.
You mentioned professions.
curious if they'll have like a
I have a
layout
critical question
editor as
about
well to
this.
move things around.
Go on.
Can I wear a chef's hat?
yeah, I knew it.
Professions in Dragonflight is really all about delivering on.
Wait.
fantasy
Can I
That's
wear
my
a
most
chef's
annoying
hat?
laugh.
And
I-
so, if you want to be a serious blacksmith, if you want to be a great leather worker, we want to deliver the ability to invest time and energy into that, become a master crafter, be able to make items that are in demand, interact with the community, One of the big pieces that we want to do to support that is a new work order system to have a bit more convenience than just spamming trade chat all day. But if you are someone, you're not yourself a blacksmith, but you have a bunch of mats and you want them forged into a great sword, you can put that work order up, list your mats, offer a commission,
now
and
adding the gig economy to World of Warcraft.
Yeah.
I think we
they've done some really good improvements to the auction house and things to make it a little more easier to use without having to mod it, which is a big deal. But crafting in these games always kind of winds up people making really powerful stuff early on in a patch, and then by the time a month is gone, usually it's only like high-end rating stuff is being made, or you just finding better stuff in dungeons. So it's always been kind of an odd balance there.
Than traditional flight that we've
Do you think a dragon can ride a dragon?
That's what I was about to ask, because it's a new race. Some races can, some classes can fly without mounts. I'm assuming the dragon can, whatever they're called.
To become an awesome dragon rider.
Yes, you'll be able to sort of upgrade aspects of your flight, but you will have this new form of flight from the start. And the dragon companion that you have is, of course, very thoroughly customizable, which is a new thing for us for mounts.
Can wear a chef's hat.
Not just a generic dragon that everyone has, but a drake that is yours. You know, what do you want its scales to look like, horns, the shape of its head, other attachments, armor pieces, and more. Take your pick.
This is so cool.
So yes, the Dragonflight expansion is going
it's only going to matter when you're flying, which nobody really pays attention to anyways.
The all-new continent of the Dragon Isles, which consists of 5 zones, 4 standard leveling zones, and a new starter zone for our Drakthir class, as well as a range of systems revamps, such as a new talent system, an overhaul and update to our UI, and an entirely fresh look at professions with more depth than ever before. Also getting around the Dragon Isles is going to come in the form of dragon riding, which lets you customize and upgrade your own mount so that you can fly in a sense.
Yeah, where's player housing, Blizzard? Any day now.
Dungeons, a raid, and much more to come.
We also have an alpha that will be starting up in the future.
Check out our website for more information, and keep an eye out for those opt-in signups if you want to help us test out Dragonflight and give us even more feedback to make it better.
We do have a deep dive that follows this, so please stay around. Classic players, we haven't forgotten about you. You could probably guess where we're going to go next. One of the all-time favorite expansions from World of Warcraft. Let's watch the cinematic.
It's all been downhill since WTLK. I'm going to get some questions here because I don't really play Classic, but I will answer some questions from chat here real quick. I don't know if we'll stick around for much of the deep dive. I know Jen's getting ready for the bombcast, and I got to get some breakfast. But let's talk about some WoW here real quick. If you have any questions, feel free to please add me or ask me a question at giantpalm.com/chat. I'll do my best to respond. Do I still actively play WoW, Rory? I haven't played in a year or so. The 8.1 patch or 9.1 patch was pretty not my thing. It was kind of interesting. It was a little bit like the Lost Isles.
The day you were born.
Yeah, here we go. Oh, well.
The very forest.
Is this a new cinematic?
Oh. The name.
So no, I haven't played very consistently over the last year. I've been playing a little bit more Final Fantasy, but honestly, like Magic: The Gathering became my daily go-to game over WoW. But I'll give this a whirl. This new thing.
How easy is it now, Rory, for like someone new to get up to? I guess is it 60 now? That's the level cap.
I think so. I haven't. It's been a while since they did a level squish. I believe expansion or two ago. They keep on doing eye level squishes to make the numbers not look like you're doing 10 million damage every single time you hit somebody. But
I get chills. No pun intended.
But yeah,
I get chills.
I haven't played Classic at all. I just like I said, I tried the beta a little bit, and I played WoW when it came out. And that leveling experience is so difficult and arduous and everything else. It's kind of hard to get back to, but I know people like it a lot. So, Pontius Pyrite says, "Did they forget the FF 6.1 update was last week, and they scheduled this announcement too late?" That's kind of historically been the weird thing about WoW, especially these big WoW announcements. They will schedule their announcements to kind of compare and contrast with, or be around the same time to distract from the Final Fantasy. Announcements that they're making over there, because I definitely, but it seems pretty clear that Final Fantasy 14 is now a bigger subscriber base than WoW is, for multiple reasons. It's I have a hard time with Final Fantasy for a lot of reasons, but
Sure.
it is definitely bigger than them, and they definitely have been feeling the heat, and I'm sure their stockholders are telling them to try to compare and contrast. Yeah.
What other
Thoughts on-
MMOs are out there, Rory, besides like these two, like Final
Well,
Fantasy
there's
14?
Eve, Final Fantasy. I think there's some other ones that are there's a lot of not little, a lot of Korean and Chinese ones are pretty big. Depending on how you, I think Lineage is still the studio who made Lineage is still kicking. I think and making stuff. I don't really get into Star Trek Online is still running. Yeah, they have a fair amount of them working around. I think Neverwinter is still running as well. That D&D one from a few years ago. They keep on putting stuff out.
Oh gosh,
I don't think
there's so many.
Warhammer was that.
Chat is just firing off with like a million other games, like Elder Scrolls Online,
Elder Scrolls
Star Wars
Online.
Old Republic. Oof.
Yeah, it's ESO. I've heard good DC Universe Online. I'm not sure if that one's still running. I'm not sure. Let's see what other we got here. Do you think the Torghast idea is worth revisiting with better rewards? So Torghast was this repeatable dungeon, kind of like a roguelite thing that you could do solo with a group. What you got out of that was if you've completed everything in it, which can take a while, you get a little ash to put into your crafter dude, and he would come out and make you a new legendary item. It was okay, but there was literally the only thing you got out of it was this little piece of crafting material. I was really hoping that at some point they'd add items or like dungeon drops or mythic dungeon drops if you're going on a hard thing. So repeating that every week was kind of laborious and not super fun. I think it's an interesting idea, but I don't think they executed it very well. Do I think they've jumped the shark? I don't know. I mean, there's still a lot of talented people, but I'm sure there's been a lot of brain drain. Imagine working on the same game for 20 years. You need some new blood every once in a while. Yeah, they're talking a lot about classic here. Let's see here now. What has WoW done, or what should they do about new players wanting to play with their friends or guild without having to grind for 60 hours first to get to the max level content? I know I want to say there is a kind of system for level matching. Maybe I'm thinking of Final Fantasy 14, though. I want to say there is a way for you to level up or down to meet a character. And I want to say they put that on WoW as well. But I'm not 100% sure if I'm remembering that correctly, because it's been a while since WoW does have level matching. I thought it did. So yeah, you can boot up a game, and I don't think you get all the skills and everything, because honestly, going from level 1, if you've never played never played WoW before, you probably need a little foundational leveling experience to get where you're going. So I wouldn't recommend just hopping in and playing a raid or anything like that. But if you're gonna play MMO, you probably want to be a little committed to it. It's not really something you can dabble in.
We'll see you in Azeroth.
And we'll see you in Northrend.
Okay,
And in
we
the
get a couple more
Dragonhouse.
questions here, and I'm going to take a look at this deep dive in a bit, but we'll probably let you all watch this in your own time. I'm curious about this.
And I'm Taryn.
What are you saying, Jan?
Starting it off
Nothing.
We're going to talk about.
If they don't mind splitting the base between classic and regular, do you think it's fine that they just start working on a WoW 2? Yeah, WoW 2 seems like it's WoW 2 seems like it would be a fine thing to do. I mean, I think they can still go for another 10 years on this engine. I don't think it's that big of a deal. Obviously, when you have an EverQuest 2 or a Guild Wars 2 or anything like that, you immediately kind of split your player base. I think Final Fantasy did it probably better than anybody ever has with 2 MMOs going at the same time. But I'm very curious to see if they ever try to pull off a WoW 2. But yes, I do believe that they'll probably bring this to Game Pass, which will probably be a kick in the arm for it. Maybe in a year or so when the
right
acquisition hits. But yeah, it's weird because this is owned by Xbox now, or they will be soon enough. And I'm very curious to see what changes at Activision Blizzard when they start bringing on Microsoft people to oversee it, because they're going to have certain kind of expectations of revenue and everything like that. But this probably will be the last one to publish without a big Microsoft logo in the front of it. So,
Rory, do they it's still like a monthly subscription thing, right?
Yes, it is $70 for 6 months, I want to say, and $15 a month, and I believe it's pretty comparable to Final Fantasy 14 as well. So it is still, you have to pay up front for that $50 for the expansion, which they sell a lot of, and I'm sure a lot of people get that free month with it, and I'll probably do that too. I'll check it out for a month and see if I like it or not. But it doesn't. They didn't really seem to say anything. I'm sure the deep dive is going to go more into it, but that was a pretty casual announcement stream. Like they didn't go into the story at all, which I'm really curious about because, everybody kind of reacted very poorly to the story in Shadowlands. Like, if you're at all interested and haven't played WoW in a while, there's a dude on this subreddit called Hobby Drama who has been going back through all of the World of Warcraft expansions and talking about the reception and response to them. It looks like Rumble Skim might be the dude that I'm thinking of. Yes, it's him. So he has this huge link. I'll actually link it in the chat real quick. If you're interested, I highly recommend this series of write-ups because it's very kind of interesting, and it goes through all the expansions that they've done, and the critical reaction and the fan reaction, and the tone of it gets so angry around the last couple of expansions that it's really interesting. So yeah, it's a weird game. It's one of the most important games I've ever played in my life. I've played good 18 years now, except for the last year. And it's been very depressing to see how bad it has become, and hopefully they can turn it around. But again, no mention of storyline at all. The features that they kind of announced for this one are pretty light too. I don't think we all expect systems to get better every time they do an expansion. You can't go backwards there. The UI is probably a bigger one for me as well. But yeah, it's a very fun game. It has been in the past. I'm hoping it is again, but for now, I think we'll just have to wait and see because they did not really talk about much. I don't know if anybody else got that sense, but yeah, that's interesting.
Odd opening at the beginning of that.
It was odd, yeah. It was interesting. Like that, they could have said a lot more. The cinematics are never super. Well, they have been plot heavy before. But that was pretty much here's some dragons, so not really a lot of stuff to go on here to make a judgment call. But they'll have more information over the next. I'm sure this will probably launch in October, November. Although there have been rumors that it might be a little bit. Hasn't been rumors that this might be delayed a little bit further. I'm sure working on something like this with COVID and quarantine has been very difficult. And that's the only one that's the only reason I give them any slack at all for Shadowlands being what it is. I'm sure it's difficult to iterate and do design for stuff that is, if you're all not in the same room, but hopefully they figured it out and hopefully Dragonflight's okay. And the high end of my voice is really cracking now. Like I yelled way too much last night. I was a good time though.
Fantastic.
Jan, if that's
Rory.
it for you and me, I think we can probably call it a day here. We'll talk.
There we go. Okay.
You're rambling too much, Rory. Rory. Now you got something to talk about on the Momcast, though, isn't it? Isn't that?
I'm going to relay all this information.
It's twofer to read the script, read my transcript on the Momcast. So, but yes, we will see you all later. Hope you enjoyed my hungover rambling. I
did.
Good. I wasn't talking over as much as I probably could have, but I just kind of wanted to see this for myself, and it's going to be a short week. So, thank you all for joining me. Hopefully, I got some questions to you. I will definitely be taking a look at this in Q4 when it comes out.